I woke up to an empty room, the bed untouched. Her belongings were gone, nothing but a few scattered clothes and her phone left behind. The strangest thing, her window was wide open. I don't know why that detail haunts me, but it does. I tried to stay calm, calling the police, but they were quick to label it as a runaway case. They told me she was probably just upset and left on her own. But I knew my sister. She would never just leave, not without saying something, not without a trace. That was it, the last thing she'd ever sent to Annie. I sat there for hours, rereading the message. I couldn't make sense of it. What did it mean? Why would Melanie say something like that? I kept searching, desperate to find more clues, but the phone went dead. I tried to charge it, but it wouldn't power up. I felt a cold knot form in my stomach. What was Melanie involved in? What was happening to my sister? I'm not stupid. I know the police won't do anything, not unless I can find concrete proof. But I can't stop thinking about those messages, about the cold finality in Melanie's words. It wasn't just bullying anymore. Something darker was at play. I won't stop looking. I can't stop looking. I need to find Annie. I need to uncover the truth, no matter how twisted it may be. And I'm starting to believe Melanie and her friends know exactly where she is. Weeks passed, and the police still hadn't found anything. I couldn't sit around waiting any longer. The message from Melanie haunted me, but more than that, the silence was unbearable. There was something off, something I was missing. I decided to take matters into my own hands. I went back to the school, asking around, trying to find someone who might know something. I wasn't prepared for what I found. A girl who had seen Melanie and her friends hanging around the woods outside town had mentioned something strange. She'd heard them talking about the ritual. At first, I thought it was a joke, some weird slang, but the more I dug, the more I realized it wasn't. I followed the trail, leading me to a derelict abandoned house deep in the woods. The house had been vacant for years, or so I thought, but there were signs. Fresh tire tracks in the mud, a faint smell of incense in the air. Something was wrong. Inside, the house was eerily quiet. The walls were covered in strange symbols I recognized. The same ones Annie had described, the same ones that had been on her body. I couldn't breathe. My heart pounded in my chest as I walked deeper into the house, hoping I was wrong. Then, I heard something, a low, guttural sound. My blood froze. It was coming from the basement. I wasn't sure what I expected to find, but I couldn't have prepared for what I saw. In the dim light, I saw Annie, alive, but changed. Her eyes were wide, empty, as if she was lost in another world. And Melanie, she was there too. She was smiling, not like a bully, but like someone who had won. Her friends stood around, chanting in a language I couldn't understand, eyes wild like they were in some kind of trance. She's ours now, Melanie said, her voice cold and distant, as if she wasn't even speaking to me. We did what we had to do. She's part of us now. I couldn't move. I couldn't scream. I couldn't even think. But then, something incredible happened. Annie's eyes shifted. They focused on me. She blinked like she was waking from a trance. Her expression faltered, and a small tear ran down her cheek. "Please," she whispered, her voice shaking. "Help me." I rushed forward, knocking over a chair in my panic. Melanie tried to stop me, but I shoved her aside. I grabbed Annie's hand and pulled her with all my strength, the room swirling around me as the other girls screamed in confusion. We ran. I don't know how we made it out of there. Maybe it was adrenaline, or maybe Annie fought harder than I realized. But we escaped. We didn't look back. When we got home, we immediately called the police, who finally listened. The ritualistic group was arrested. Melanie and her friends were charged with numerous crimes, and they were taken into custody. But what they did to Annie, that will never leave her. The doctor said she'd be okay. That, with time, she could recover. But I know Annie. I know the darkness she went through, and it'll take more than therapy to fix that. But she's alive, she's safe, and maybe, just maybe, there's hope for both of us.